Hey guys, welcome back to this mini-series where we are making a main menu handling multiple save files. So in the last episode, we basically did all the layouts. We positioned the scenes, the nodes, and we created a component, which at the moment we're not really using, but we are now gonna add a little bit more scripts and logic to this, because obviously there's a lot of logic going behind the scenes of this simple menu, and that's what we will do. So first, we will begin by creating this new file version of the profile card in the script, right? Because we have the card, we have the default images and stuff, but in the script right now it does nothing. We just have a few signals that we can use. So yeah, we're gonna start with this. Then we will begin creating the save system that will allow us to create a save folder in which we will be able to save our profiles. Okay, so let's go. Let's start with making this little save card able to send the information that we are trying to create a new profile. So here we do have the profile card, and we have this empty script with a few methods. Okay. So far we don't have much states for this profile. So I've been using a simple if statement, right? Because we only have two states, so I didn't judge necessary to have an enum or a full state machine. First, I will create a data variable in the profile so that when we create the component, we instantiate it, we can give data to it so that it displays the profile name and it gets the save path that it will use to load the save for later on. So that we will use as a property. Then we will have a onPressed method, because this is a button. By the way, let's just check that we do have everything. So we will ignore texture, ignore the separator because it's stop by default. The label should be on ignore by default. Okay, cool. The VBox is pass. Let's ignore. The margin, let's ignore as well. And the panel should be set to ignore. So now we have the profile card, which should be set to pass. That seems good. Okay, so now we can grab the button pressed and create a new method on the card right there. So here we are going to have a simple thing, which is if we have data, basically, we want to emit the signal that we loaded a profile and we want to join data. Well, we want to emit, sorry, and we want to join data to it. Else, which means that data is null, we want to emit profile created. Okay. Let's get this like this at the moment. Should work. Maybe we will make a simple thing to be viewing that we are correctly creating a new profile. So what I'm going to do is grab the label, make it unique, like this, and I will get the node of the label with the unique tag, we'll get it as label in order to access text, and we will assign to it a text. A text which will be as follows. If data, we want text to display profile 1. Else, if there's no data in it, we want text to be showing new profile. All right. So this way, we should have a better understanding if the game considers this data or not. Now that we have this, let's go back to the game view. Actually, no, the main menu. Yes, the main menu is cool. Here we have the HBox container, which contains the profiles. So I will rename this to profiles container. And I will make it unique. Okay. So what I will do is on ready, 1, 2, 3, on ready, I will just create a simple component card. So let's have this components right there. So that will be packed or scene. Let's have scene profile card as a packed scene. So we have this right there. So let's assign it. Let's quick load profile card. It seems great. So what we're going to do is create a new node, which is going to be scene profile card.instantiate. And at the moment, we don't really care about anything. We just want to get node of the profiles container with the peasant to add child on it and add node. So right now, when we start the game, basically we should have root, which instantiates the main menu, and then the main menu should instantiate an empty card. Let's see if this is happening. Okay, so we have the new profile and we have this. It's perfect. Now let's grab the signals actually. So we have the onQuit button pressed, which we're just gonna push at the bottom. And I'm gonna create 2 new methods, which are onProfile loaded. And here we will have data. Actually, I will rename data in the other. I used profile before, but I think data is what it really is. Okay, back to main menu. So we have onProfile loaded, and we have onProfile created, which takes no arguments. So because of that, here we need now to use the main menu profile card. Main menu profile card. We need to do that because we want to be able to grab the methods which are profile created, and we want to connect this to onProfile created, and we want to grab profile loaded, and we want to connect it to onProfile loaded. Okay, so now just as a simple thing, I will print profile, new profile created, and I will just debug it so that, oh, there's an error. What is it? The parameter data is never used. Yep. It's going to be used later on. It's all right. So, yep, we can try this and click on it to have a new profile created. Sorry. Really coughing a lot. So, Now that we have this, we have the actual call to create the new profile. So we need to do everything to create this new profile. So I'm going to create new scripts. I will create a folder for utils, and in there I'm going to create a SaveSystem.gd, which is going to be a bunch of static methods. So this is going to be SaveSystem, and in there we're going to have, as I said, methods. So I honestly don't know everything in my head. So I will be using another project to copy paste it. So let me get this. So basically here, we will create a new method, a new static method, which is going to be create new profile. And we need to, wait a second, do we need to give it a safe path? I don't think so. If we do, we will add it later. Static function, that's better. So before anything, we will not be saving the saves in the root folder of the game. We will create a new folder, and for that to happen, we will need to use the directory access. So I'm going to create a new method, which is going to be open save directory. So here I just basically want to check that we do have a save directory, and also it will return the said directory, which is going to be very important if we want to be able to get the files. So first we want to check if the directory exists. So we will have a check that if there is not this directory, then we will create it. Otherwise, we will return the directory itself. So we will be using the directory access static method thing. And in there, we will use static functions. And here, we will check that a directory exists. Maybe we can create a variable to store the path. So it's going to be the dir path. There we go. It's going to be a string equal to user / and saves. Are you fine with a static constant? No, he's not. So let's have a static variable then. Well, actually, if it's a constant, maybe it's going to be fine with it. I don't know. Let's see. Here, we just want to use the dir path. And is it sad because I'm pointing towards something that's static? No, it's okay. All right, perfect. So here, if there's no directory, we want to create one. So we are going to use the directory access again to make a new directory and use the absolute method. The absolute method is the static version of the method, which is used when we do dir access.something. If you want to know more about static things, you can watch the singleton video. I talk a lot about static things. So anyway, here we want to create the directory path. Okay. And then what we want to return is simply the directory access, and we want to open the dir path. And we will return the directory access. Why is it could not find a type directory access in the scope? Because I forgot an S. All right. So now we have access to the directories, and it's going to be very important, as I said, to get the files. So let me find the create file method. Yep, there we go. So first, I'm going to create another method. Actually, do I need to create a method for that, which is going to be get save files? I guess, yeah. Let's do it. So we'll have a static function, which is going to be get saved save files. And that will return, at the moment, void, but I will change this later on because that will return a packed string array, a new type that I didn't know it existed. It exists before I worked with the directory accesses, and it's actually quite a cool thing. So anyway, we'll have a dir access, which is going to be obviously open save directory, and then we will create the very first list, which is going to be an array, which is a packed string array. And this is simply directory.getFiles. Get files. Right. So this will return basically all the files, all the strings of the names of the files in the current directory which we are in, directory being saves. So first, very simple, very basic check. Is the size is equal to 0, then I want to return files like this. Let's have a string array now because we will have errors otherwise. So we want to return the files if it's empty. We don't care if it is empty. If it is not empty, we will filter through the files by creating a new array, which is going to be empty. And we will basically look for files which have the extension res or tres. This way we can actually ignore any file that's not a Godot resources. So we created a new empty array. So now we need to populate it. So we will just go through all the strings in files. And for each file, we will just check one of two things. Let me check something. Okay. So we will check if the file ends with either .trs or the file ends with .res. If that is the case, then we want to have tilted files. We want to append the file in it. Okay. And then we will return the filtered files. So this way we basically get all the files, but we exclude anything that is not tres or res. Okay. So now we have access to the saves directory and we basically get the saves file in there. So we can get to create a new file. So how are we going to do this? We will basically try to create a file. A new one, it's going to be important because we don't want to overwrite an existing self file, right? If you have profile 1, 2, and 3 already existing, you don't want to create a new profile with the exact same path of either save 1 or save 2 because that will erase all the data. So we just want to try to find a new path, basically. So that's what we will be doing in this method. So here we will create a counter, which is going to be an int, and we will initialize it to 1. So now I'll create a Boolean that will be used to track whether or not we can create a file. So we will have this found available counts. What I mean there is that we want to find a counter that creates a save file that doesn't exist yet. And we want to initialize it to false because as long as we don't have any, we want to keep trying. And we will do the dread loop of while, which can create problem, but sometimes it's necessary, and now it is. So as long as we basically have not found a suitable file name, we will keep looping. So first, we will simulate what the file name is. So the file name is basically going to be save with the counter, maybe an underscore, and we will add tires at the end. And we will use the counter like this. From that point, now that we have simulated a save file name, we want to make sure that it is not overriding something already existing. So let's use the method we created there to get the save file. So we will have save files being a packed string array, and that will be equal to get save files. So now that we have this, I'm going to create a variable. Well, actually, let me grab this and put it at the top, because we just need one list and we don't need to get it all the time. Getting it once is enough. So as I said, I want to create a variable which is going to be no match. What this means is here we haven't, when we find a save file that has the exact same name as the one we're trying to create, we will basically have a match. So this will become false. So by default, it's going to be true. We're going to loop through the files. So we're going to have this file string in save files. We will try to check if file name is equal to 5, basically. And if it happens, if it is equal, then no match will become false, because we do have a match. From there, once we are done looping, we want to check if we do have a match. If we have no match, we can say that we have found an available count, and we can proceed to save the file. Otherwise, if there's a match, it means that the counter is wrong and we want to increase it by 1. Okay? So once we're out of this loop, we should have a counter, which is basically a number, that's available for us to create a new save file without erasing anything. So what we will do is create a new data, which is type data, of course, and that new data is going to be data.new, and here we do have to answer those 2 lines, basically. Yes. We want to answer those lines, which are, what did I do? Right? We want to create the new profile name. So the profile is going to be profile, and we're going to add the counter to it. And we need the file name to be save. Well, actually, user//saves. Well, let's see. We can actually have this person s. So we go to saves, and then we have save underscore counter. And here we have dir path and counter. I think that makes sense. Not what I have on my reference, but it's okay. Actually, I can grab this and create a new save path equal to that and have save path here, because we will be using it afterward. So now we can use result saver to use the save method, and we will save the new data with the save path. Sounds good. Okay, I made a very stupid mistake. I completely forgot to add to the save path the extension. There we go. So we can try this. We enter the save file. We then create the save file, save1.res, and we go next. And now if I go in my directory, I do have this save1 in there, which I should be able to open and have profile1 with the save path, save1.res. Okay, so it works. It works. Now we are able to create new profiles. That's a start. What we need to do now is, well, we have many things to do. We could do the proceeding to the game according to the new profile we created. We could do this. Or we can actually now start working with the loading, right? So that when we open the game, we actually load profiles, because right there we have a new profile thing, but we don't know that we have existing profiles. So let me see. We are 30 minutes in. In fact, I think this will be the second video. And in the next one, we will focus on loading the cards, basically, and creating the card components based on what we've loaded. All right. So it's going to be everything. It's going to be all we are doing today. I hope you liked this episode and that you enjoyed this mini-series, because we still have a few videos to go. And yeah, you enjoy your game dev, and I will see you in the next video. See ya.